High Court issues rule as to why directives will not be given to cancel agreements with India's Adani Group over electricity and directs to constitute investigation committee by 1 month and submit the report by 2 months. Money loan court activates to be strengthened further to ensure good governance in financial sector, says finance advisor. All criminal cases filed to suppress student-led movement between July 1st and August 5th have been withdrawn, says law advisor. Awami League turned into fascists due to lack of accountability. Accountability must be ensured for political emancipation. Voting rights must be restored, says Tariq Rahman. Israeli airstrikes kills 5 people in central Beirut. Hezbollah agrees to US proposed ceasefire with Israel. And Croatia claim a place in UEFA Nations League quarter-finals by 1-1 draw with already qualified Portugal. Assalamu alaikum. This is Nazin Khalek Zubair welcoming you all to News at 10. You have just heard the highlights. Now move on to the details. The High Court has issued directives to form a high-level investigation committee to re-evaluate all the agreements with India's Adani Group over electricity. International energy law experts have to be included in the committee. The court has directed the Cabinet Secretary to constitute the investigation committee by 1 month and submit the report to the court by the next 2 months. In addition, the court issued rule as to why directives will not be given to cancel all the imbalanced agreements with Adani Group over electricity. The High Court Bench of Justice Farah Mahbub and Justice Debashish Rai Chaudhary gave the directives today following a writ petition. The court has also issued order to submit the documents of the bargaining during signing of the agreements with the Adani Group by 1 month. Barrister M. Abdul Qayyum argued in the court for the writ. He was assisted by Barrister Moniruzzaman, Advocate Afroza Firoz Mita and Barrister Kamrun Mahmud Mita. In order to ensure good governance in financial sector, activities of the Orthorin Adalat or Money Loan Court will be strengthened further, said Finance Advisor Dr. Salauddin Ahmed. He said this at a press conference at the Secretariat today. Secretary of the Financial Institutions Division Nazma Mubarak, Economic Relations Division Secretary Mohammad Shahriar Qadir Siddiqui, Finance Secretary Mohammad Khairuzaman Muzumdar and Chairman of the National Board of Revenue Mohammad Abdul Rahman Khan were present. The finance advisor said the success of the interim government is rising. He kept saying that short-term reforms are underway in the economy to repair the damage caused in the past 15 years. Dr. Salauddin Ahmed said efforts are underway to bring the laundered money back home. In addition, policies are being introduced so that none can siphon off money from the country in future. The finance advisor said some banks are returning to healthy conditions. The government will not shut any banks, he added. The draft for the amendments to the International Crimes Tribunal Act, including a provision to ban political parties, will be placed at the Advisory Council meeting tomorrow. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Advisor Professor Dr. Asif Nazrul said this at a briefing at the Secretariat today. He said the registration of a political party or organization could be suspended or cancelled if it is convicted of crimes against humanity, including killings, enforced disappearances and torture. The law advisor went on saying that all criminal cases filed during the anti-discrimination student movement between July 1st and August 5th have been called off. In addition, all the cases filed under the Cyber Security Act will be cancelled. However, the cases relating to hacking and cyber crimes will stay, he added. A Commonwealth delegation led by Assistant Secretary General Luis Gabriel Franceschi met with Professor Ali Rias, head of the Constitution Reform Commission, at the Commission's office today. During the meeting, Professor Rias briefed the delegation on the Commission's ongoing initiatives and plans concerning constitutional reform. Luis Franceschi assured full cooperation in advancing the reform agenda by expressing the Commonwealth's unwavering support. Professor Rias reiterated the Commission's commitment to completing the reforms within the stipulated time frame. The delegation included Dinasha Panditaratne, Commonwealth Advisor and Head of Asia Governance and Peace, Professor Michelle Scobie, Advisor and Head of Governance, Nancy Kanayako, Legal Advisor of the Law Development Division, and Shartuk Roy, Assistant Research Officer. Mohammad Abdullah Al Mamun, Director of International Organizations at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, represented the Foreign Ministry during the meeting. Head of the Commonwealth delegation, Louis Francisci, said that Commonwealth expects a free, fair, transparent and neutral election in Bangladesh. He came up with the observation today while briefing journalists after a meeting with Election Reform Commission Chairman Badiul Alam Muzumdar at Election Commission Bhavan in the capital's Agargaon. Badiul Alam Muzumdar said it was a fruitful discussion with the Commonwealth delegation. The Commonwealth delegation is keen to know about the electoral system and provide assistance if needed, he added. BNP Acting Chairman Tariq Rahman said Awami League turned into a fascist due to the lack of accountability. He also said accountability must be ensured for political emancipation, voting rights must be restored. Tariq Rahman made the comments in his virtual speech at a workshop titled 31-Point Outline for Structural Reform and Public Involvement at Institute of Diploma Engineers Auditorium in the capital's Kakrail today. Organizing Secretary of BNP Qazi Saidul Alam Babul presided over the workshop, which was also addressed by Standing Committee member Dr. Abdul Moin Khan, Chairperson Advisory Council member Ismail Jabiullah, Joint Secretary General Shahiduddin Chaudhry Ani, and Abdus Salam Azad, and Publicity Secretary Sultan Salahuddin Tuku. Tariq Rahman said conspiracies are still going on in the country and urged all to remain vigilant. Now international news. Lebanon and Hezbollah have agreed to a U.S. proposal for a ceasefire with Israel, with some comments on the continent. A top Lebanese official told newsmen describing the effort as the most serious yet to end the fighting. Ali Hassan Khalil, an aide to Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri, said Lebanon had delivered its written response to the U.S. ambassador in Lebanon on Monday, and White House envoy Amos Hochstein was traveling to Beirut to continue talks. There was no immediate comment from Israel. Hezbollah, a heavily armed movement backed by Iran, endorsed its long-time ally Berri to negotiate over a ceasefire. He was returning to UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which ended a previous war between Hezbollah and Israel in 2006. Its terms require Hezbollah to have no armed presence in the area between the Lebanese-Israel border and the Litani River, which runs some 30 kilometers north of the frontier. Yesterday, at the day 409 of the ongoing genocide, Israeli missiles killed and injured dozens of Palestinians, including many children and women, across the devastated and starved Gaza Strip. The Israeli army fired a missile at a home near al-Jallah Street, west of Gaza City, killing at least 7 Palestinians and wounding many others, mostly children and women. In Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, the army targeted a tent housing displaced families in the Al-Atar area of Mawasi Khan Yunis, killing 4 Palestinians, including 2 children, and injuring several others. The bombardment tent was in a designated safe humanitarian zone that has frequently been bombed by Israeli forces. The Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs emphasized that targeting UNRWA facilities in occupied Palestinian territories continues a blatant violation of international law and affront to the international community, criticizing the global community for failing to uphold basic human values due to evident double standards. During the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro, global leaders faced pressure from protests to address conflicts in Gaza and Lebanon. Demonstrators, including religious and climate activists, called for a ceasefire. The leaders demanded peace, hostage release, and stronger action on climate change. And indigenous land rights spokesperson of the summit, Abi Israel David Weiss, urged leaders to stop the violence in Gaza and Lebanon. He stressed the need for a unified global response to humanitarian crisis. The summit discussions focused on securing a comprehensive ceasefire and protecting civilian safety. Leaders also explored ways to support peace and climate initiatives. Protesters demanded that leaders listen to their voices. They emphasized the importance of addressing these urgent issues. The summit aimed to find solutions for ongoing conflicts. It highlighted the need for cooperation among nations. The focus was on achieving peace and addressing climate change challenges. Protesters' demands were clear and urgent. They wanted immediate action from world leaders. The call for peace and safety was a central theme throughout the summit. Global leaders were urged to act swiftly. The emphasis was on protecting civilians and promoting peace, not only in Middle East but also all the conflict zones around the world. Pakistan has banned all types of public gatherings in the capital Islamabad and nearby areas for 2 months ahead of a planned protest by present former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party. Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf (PTI) last week announced to protest in Islamabad on November 24 to force the government to release its jail-founding leader incarcerated for more than a year. The federal government retaliated by imposing Section 144 in Islamabad, a colonial-era law that prohibits public assemblies. The district magistrate also banned firecrackers, the display of firearms, as well as the distribution of handbills, pamphlets, and affixing of posters. The ban would be in place for 2 months, unless revoked or extended, the order said. However, the banning of rallies may hardly have any impact on the PTI, which in the past floated Section 144 several times, political observers said, adding, the protesters usually invoke a constitutional provision that provides the right of peaceful assembly and protest to all citizens. Imran Khan has been incarcerated in multiple cases since August last year. Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayake retained the key finance minister portfolio and reappointed Harini Amritsuriya as Prime Minister as the Indian Ocean island nation targets stronger recovery from a draining financial crisis. Dissanayake, whose leftist coalition owned a record 159 seats in the 225-member parliament in a general election last week, also reappointed veteran legislator Vijita Herath to helm the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Dissanayake, who has held the key finance minister portfolio since he was elected in September, will continue in that role, two party sources told Reuters, as Sri Lanka looks to chart a stronger recovery out of its worst financial crisis since independence from the British in 1948. The new parliament will meet on Thursday to elect a speaker, and Dissanayake will present his key policy priorities to the newly elected lawmakers. National news once again. A 2-day seminar began in the capital today to take up a coordinated approach to formulate Fair City Charter 2024. Professor Mushtaq Khan of SOAS University inaugurated the seminar at the Press Institute of Bangladesh PIB in the capital today. River and Delta Research Consultants Limited organized the program. 3 sessions out of 7 was held today. These are Safe Living and Livable City, Reasonable Transportation and Nature-Based City Life. Fair City Charter 2024 to be formulated by the seminar speakers will be handed over to Constitution Reform Commission. This will act as a strong combined voice for ensuring justice and equality. Fair City Charter is a unique initiative which has been formulated with the participation of several thousand people from across the country. 250 delegates came to Dhaka and taking part with 90 eminent speakers in 7 seminars and sessions. The forum will ensure participation of people of various levels. It will take note of the opinions of planners, architects, urban experts, common people, professionals, expertise, aborigines, fishermen, farmers and laborers. In the morning session, Dr. Adil Mohammad Khan, President of Bangladesh Institute of Planners, BIP, presented the keynote paper. Poet and philosopher Farhad Mazhar also presented paper at the seminar. The High Court today directed government authorities to take necessary steps to stop the playing of battery-run rickshaw in Dhaka city within 3 working days in a bid to reduce road accidents. The court also issued a rule asking the authorities to explain why their failure to halt the operation of these rickshaws should not be declared illegal. The bench of Justice Fatima Najib and Justice Sheikh Mahmoud Razi issued the directive following a writ petition filed by the Greater Dhaka City Corporation Rickshaw Owners Unit Alliance, changing the authorities' inaction in stopping the unlicensed battery-run rickshaws in the city. No news on weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said weather may remain dry with temporary, partly cloudy sky over the country. Light to moderate fog may occur at places over the country during late night till early morning. Night temperature may fall slightly over Rangpur Division. It may remain nearly unchanged elsewhere over the country. Day temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country, said the Met Office. Now news on sports. Croatia made 1-1 draw with Portugal and reached to the quarter-finals of the UEFA Nations League. Portugal also confirmed the quarter-finals. João Felix put Portugal ahead in the 33rd minute. In the 65th minute, Josko Gabriel left the margin for the Croats. Scotland beat Poland by 2-1 goals in the last match but did not reach the last 8. They will play the relegation playoffs after 2 consecutive wins. Spain had already confirmed the top spot in Group A4. They entered the group stage with a thrilling 3-2 win over Switzerland in the last match last night. Jeremy Pino, Brian Gill and Brian Zaragoza scored 1 goal each for Spain. Joel Montorio and Andy Zachary scored 1 goal each for Switzerland. Denmark made goals draw with Serbia and reached to the quarterfinals. Spain has 16 points. Denmark is runners-up in the group with 8 points. The 8 teams finalized the quarterfinals: Portugal, France, Germany, Spain, Croatia, Italy, Netherlands and Denmark respectively.